Hi, my name is Stephanie Agaton Michaels, founder and CEO of the Stephanie Michaels Software Company. All right, so today I'm just going to let you guys know what's going to change the moment we have secured the right strategic partner. So, number one, it's not about the money. Those of you who are business owners, you know this. If it was just about getting money, I could have gone to a bank. Banks have lots of money. What we're looking for is not just a strategic partner, we're looking for the right strategic partner. A lot of founders probably don't take this as seriously as they should, but you should know, for those of you who have never started a business, this is some very good advice for you. When you give away shares of your company, that's permanent. Giving away shares or equity of your company, that's not the same as getting a temporary tattoo. That's permanent. What that means is that you're giving away a percentage of your company to somebody else forever. So, for the lifespan of that company, for as long as this company is alive, somebody gets 10% or 15% or 5% forever. And the only way you're ever going to get that equity back is if that person decides to sell it back to you, or if they decide to forfeit the shares, which never happens, especially if your company is successful, which our company will be and currently is already successful. So take this seriously, okay? You don't want to just rush and sign with somebody just because they're giving you a check. You need to interview them just as they're going to interview you. They're going to do their due diligence on you, and you need to do your due diligence on them. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement. Okay. So for me, here's what's important to me. In order for me to say yes to an investor, number one, we have a very detailed discussion to make sure that that investor is not in any way affiliated with our competitors. So, for instance, if Unreal Engine or Epic Games decides that they are a competitor of ours, me specifically, I don't see them as a competitor because I see them as a gaming company, which is what they are. So Disney gave Epic Games $1.5 billion. Dollars. Why? Not because they are planning on trying to become a film company, not because they make the best games in the world, but because of Fortnite and the Fortnite universe. So I cannot have an investor that wants to invest in my company, but then at the same time, that person is best friends with Tim Sweeney. That's going to be a conflict of interest. Because if I ever am in a position where I have to sue Epic Games because they are either copying Univah too much or messing with our brand identity or trying to create confusion in the market by overly mimicking everything we do, and I have to sue them, then I need to make sure that I have an investor who's going to protect me and defend me the same way Nike defended Michael Jordan. So these are the kinds of things that I look for in an investor. I don't want an investor that's just here to sit quietly and collect a check whenever the Univah film engine becomes $1 billion tool. I'm not looking for an investor that just wants to be passive and enjoy the money that we're going to make. I need a partner. I need somebody who, if things get rough, I need somebody who's a beast, who's a legal beast, who's going to go to war for this company. So in other words, you can't just be here and expect for everything to be perfect all the time. This is a marriage. There are going to be good times, there are going to be bad times. There are going to be times we might have to sue someone. There are going to be times we might have to get involved in a very messy legal battle. There might be times that we have to sue Reillusion. If I have to sue Reillusion 25 times a day, if I have to sue Epic Games, whatever it takes to make sure this company is protected, from people that are trying to steal from us, from people that are trying to rob us, from Blender Foundation. If I have to go against Blender Foundation, if I have to go against Autodesk, if I have to go against Epic Games, whoever it is, if I have to go against Adobe, I need an investor that is going to be a legal beast so they can handle that while I focus on what I'm good at, which is building this tool so that we can all become multi-billionaires. Because I know I have multiple products. We're not a one product company. Univah is just one of our offerings. So I need to be able to focus on what I'm good at, which is running the company. I can't do that and then also fight Epic Games or also fight Relusion and also fight Blender and also I can't do everything. I need help. And I need somebody who's going to be there with me in the trenches when it's good, when it's bad, when it's pretty, when it's ugly. So that's what I look for. If you are golf buddies with Tim Sweeney, obviously, if Tim Sweeney and Epic Games do something to harm us, you're not going to want to fight them. You're a conflict of interest at that point. You're a liability, and I cannot sign with an investor who's a liability. If you're best friends with the CEO of Autodesk, and Autodesk does something that hurts me, or hurts this company, or hurts our product, I need you to care. You have to care about what happens to this company because you are now getting equity in this company. So if I sign over 10% shares to you, you need to give a crap about what happens to our company. So if Autodesk hurts us, it affects you too. If Epic Games hurts us, if Blender Foundation is overly copying our UI, it affects you. I expect you to do something. So that's number one. I need you to care about who hurts me. Okay? Number two, I need you to help us with distribution. That's the main reason why I'm looking for an investor. Okay? I need help with distribution. I need help with marketing. I need you to have some connections to be able to make things happen, to open doors. Okay? Otherwise, I could have just gone to a bank and got a $250,000 business loan. Okay? So if I'm not doing that and I'm willing to depart from 10% of my company and give you 10% shares, I need you to add value. Okay? I need an investor that adds value. I don't just want a check. I will reject your check if you do not add value. Okay? So let's be very clear about that. So I don't have a long list of what I'm looking for. These are common sense things. I I require the same thing Michael Jordan required from Nike. When Michael Jordan signed with Nike for $250K, Nike said, you know what, Jordan, if the NBA is going to fine you, if the NBA is going to be difficult, if the NBA is going to be a butthole, and they're going to treat you like crap every time you wear the shoe, don't worry about it. Just do what you do best, Michael. You go play basketball and be the best player you can be, and we will handle all the legal crap. We will pay the fines. We're going to fight this. We're going to do everything we can. We'll handle the marketing. We will do everything else, Michael. You just go and be Michael, because that's what you're good at. And we will pay the fines every time you wear the shoe. Okay, so that's what I need. I need somebody to be my Nike. Okay, I need an investor that's going to be my Nike, because I can't fight everything and then also do the coding and then also do all the debug. I am the person behind the computer writing the code. Sometimes I will stay up all night, up until 6 in the morning, debugging, working on code, working on the product that's going to make us all multi-billionaires. While I'm doing that, if I also have to worry about legal troubles and legal battles, that is too much. It's 3 much, it's 4 much, it's 5 much. So I need somebody who's going to be a beast for me so I can focus on being the Michael Jordan of this company. Okay, I'm your star player. Treat me well. Okay, you want to treat your star players well. Treat your rock stars well. Okay, that's just common sense. So that's what I'm looking for. Okay, I don't want to be fighting with the investor. I need the investor to fight for me, fight for the company. Okay, because it benefits you when we win. Okay, alrighty. So here's what happens when we secure an investor. Okay, I'm going to let you guys know the changes that I'm going to be making. So right now, as of this moment, the Univah film engine is under the Stephanie Michael software company. That is a pretty long name. And quite frankly, when I start getting interviewed, having to say that all the time, it gets a little tiring. So, as you guys know, my name is Stephanie Ikatwan Michaels. Ikatwan is my middle name. I already own Ikatwan LLC. What we're going to be doing is just converting the LLC to a C Corp. And then we're going to be issuing the shares to our investor, the 10% shares to our investor uh, for a $5 million valuation. Okay. So that's the first thing that's going to happen. We're going to possibly, excuse me, have a name change. As soon as we have an investor, we're going to be converting to a C corp. Okay, so that's step one. Step two: after we convert to a C corp, we are going to have a very different website in terms of what's there now. So because this company is self-funded and I have to pay for everything, I have had to do multiple jobs. So that means when I am out there doing multiple jobs, I'm not able to focus 100% on this job, which is software development. And that's really what I want to do. I want this to be my full time job, but I have to make money to pay for this dream. And so that's why you see me doing other things like renting out my cars. I have a car rental business. I have a music production business. I have I have my courses that I sell online. I do all these different things. Why? Because they generate income so that I can pour that income into the Univah Film Engine so I can fund this company. So when we get an investor, what changes is that number one, I don't have to, I won't have to do all this other stuff anymore. So our website right now, it has film, music, fashion, all this other stuff probably is going to take a huge back seat. All of these links will be removed. So I won't have to promote my music anymore. I won't have to, I won't have to do these things anymore professionally to make money. I will remove all of this from the website, and the website now becomes strictly about our software and only that. So the website should be strictly about our software, the films made using our software, all the promotional content for our software, and that's it. So nothing about my music, nothing about me personally should be on this website. So right now, the website is very personal. There's a lot of me on here. Um, what's going to change once we have an investor? They're going to take a look at our website, and I'm going to allow them to give us input on what to change, what to add, what to remove. And just, because I have the mind of an investor, I already know some of the things that they might want us to refine or improve, and some things that I don't need to have on there. So I already know, like my films, music, fashion, those things are my personal businesses. I don't have to have this on this website anymore the moment I have an investor. Because once we have an investor, I'm quitting everything else and I'm focusing 100% on building this software company. This becomes my full time job. And that's what I want. I want this to be my full time job. So, no more promoting music, no more promoting fashion and all that other stuff that I do. Because now Univah becomes my full time job. The Stephanie Michael Software Company is my job, and I work here. Okay. All right. So that becomes the focus. Everything else takes a back seat, and a lot of those links get removed. Okay. So just keep that in mind. So the website will go through some changes, um, and we will also clean up our YouTube videos. So right now, our YouTube channel looks more like a vlog. I use it mainly to update you guys on what's going on with us. But once we have an investor, a lot of like the personal posts, I'll keep them up because it's good for our journey. If 5 years from now, some movie director wants to make a movie about me, a lot of the personal stuff that I post, they're going to want to see that. That's the kind of content that makes a good movie. Seeing our struggles, knowing all the things that I went through before we made it, that's what makes a good movie. You don't want to watch a movie where everything's perfect for the main character all the time. That's a boring movie. But seeing the fact that we got banned from Reddit, got banned from Polycount, got banned from, all these things, which at the time were very frustrating, it makes a really good story when you win. So, um, all of these struggles and just how unfairly we were treated in the beginning, really, it's a really good movie when you look at the full story. So, don't be ashamed of your struggles. It's all part of what makes you you, it's part of our brand identity. So um, yeah, all of these things here, just all of the struggles with beta testers, people not wanting to admit that we were great, all of these things, it's all part of what makes a great story. So that's why I let you guys see even the sometimes not so flattering things. I let you see it because, again, it's all part of our story. So, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm really grateful to have Hanno Bassi, who gave us such a great, validating compliment. And this is part of what I'm talking about. When you have people at the highest level, I mean, what's higher than the Oscars, right? If you're a filmmaker, there's nothing higher than the Oscars. You win an Oscar, there's nothing above that besides what God Himself will give you, right? So to have a voting member at the Oscars, Hanno Bassi is one of the guys who decides who gets an Oscar. And to have one of the guys who votes on who gets an Oscar take a look at our software and from his own mouth, from his own conclusion, says, wow, this is faster than AI. That's huge. That's huge because I didn't have to tell him to say that. I don't control that man. Okay. He's his own person. Okay. And he's a senior member. He's a CTO. These are C-level executives. So I'm in meetings with people at the top, at the highest levels of the company. These are C-level executives, just like I am. And, you know, they're telling me and they're telling you the same things that I've been telling you about Univah for years. For years, we said very boldly, Univah is better than AI. It's for people that want better than AI. And I wouldn't have been able to say those things if I couldn't back it up. And so now to hear this from the industry, you're hearing this now from Hollywood. Kitrick Kearns, that's a guy that worked with a lot of celebrities. He's worked in Hollywood. He's worked at Disney. He's worked at some of the biggest companies. He took a look at our software and said, amazing, he really liked it. So when you have people at the top saying Univah is super realistic, it's better than AI, it's faster than AI. But then when I do a beta test video with people that are nowhere near that level and they try to give me a hard time, you can start to see now why I said, there's a lot of jealousy towards our company, a lot of jealousy toward our product. And that's why whenever you're dealing with a lot of jealousy at the low level, jealousy, a lot of it mostly comes from people at the low level. And when you are dealing with small minded people trying to tear down a big dream, even the biggest dreams can be torn down by small minded people. You've heard this before. And so when we did these beta test videos, you saw how it was a struggle getting some of them to admit that Univah was great, but they eventually admitted it. But it was like, my God, it was like pulling teeth. Like, why is it so hard for you to just admit this is great? It's amazing because having people that are superior to these beta testers, having people that are at a much higher level than these beta testers, they take one look at Univah and they see the potential. Look, let me tell you something, guys. If I have a meeting with Tim Sweeney today, I'm not going to have to convince Tim Sweeney that we're great. That's the difference between the people operating at that level versus beta testers. Okay? These beta testers that gave me such a hard time, if I went to Tim Sweeney tonight, okay? If I said, Sweeney, take a look at Univah, and he's already seen, he knows who we are, okay? All these big companies, they know who we are. They watch our videos. But do you really think I have to convince Autodesk of how great we are? Autodesk knows. That's why taking cues from our software and trying to make 3D Studio Max look more like Univah. Okay, they're trying to make Maya look more like Univah. Do you think I have to convince Adobe CEO? Do you think I have to have some long meeting with Tim Sweeney before he sees the value of Univah? All of them do. Blender Foundation sees the value of Univah. Reallusion sees the value of all of them do. If they didn't, they wouldn't be trying to make their tools look like our tool. So the moment you have, that's the biggest validation you need is when people that are billionaires working at big billion-dollar companies are looking at your tool and trying to make their tool look like your tool. That's all the validation you need. And that's the difference between people at a higher level of thinking versus people at a lower level of thinking. A low level thinking person, I have to show them Univah, I have to try to convince them, I have to, and they don't, and they still don't see it. They still don't see it. I had to struggle with these beta testers. You saw. Go and watch these videos. Some of them were so difficult to deal with. It was painful. I hated making these beta test videos, but I did it for your benefit because it benefited you to see that Univah was real. It's a completely different situation when a developer develops something on their PC and it works only on their PC versus when you have a real product, a real commercial product that works on everybody's computer. So I wanted you guys to see that Univah was a real product. It works on not just my computer, but on any computer. So I showed you going to universities. I went to universities and I installed Univah on 15 university computers. I showed you that. I did beta test videos where I had these people who don't know who I am. They've never met me before. We met. I did a live Zoom call. It was unscripted. And all of them downloaded Univah right in front of you. They entered their license and they clicked launch and Univah launched. You saw the entire process of downloading Univah, adding the license key, and launching Univah, and then using Univah to make a scene. I showed you this for your benefit, not for my benefit. I already know what Univah can do. I did it for your benefit. And was it frustrating as hell? Absolutely. Was I annoyed and mad? Yes. Because here I am with a great tool and I have to speak to people that act like they don't have eyes and they can't see that it's great. Do you have any idea how frustrating and insulting it is to speak to people that are below you, and people that are below you are trying to talk down on you? Do you have any idea how that feels? And yet I stuck with it. I did 12 of these ridiculous videos with these ridiculous people who were trying to tear me down, trying to make me feel insecure about my product, trying to hurt me, trying to make me feel like what I had wasn't good enough, just trying to hurt me all the time. So, but yet I still kept going. So that's what it takes. I let you see how these people talk to me. I let you see how these people sit there and they're silent and they're quiet. They see Univah, they see the renders and they go quiet, they go silent. They suddenly forget how to speak. I let you see all of that. I let you see it. I let you see how these people disrespect me live on Zoom and disrespect my product. I let you see it because all of that is part of the story. Because one day when this tool is making billions of dollars, you're going to come back to these videos and you're going to say, wow, they were so wrong. They were so wrong. So it's all part of the story, guys. Okay, it's all part of the story. One day when there's a movie or 10 movies about me, you're going to come back to these videos and you're going to laugh at these beta testers who sat there and got silent and try to act like, oh, they can't see that this is great. One day when everybody's using Univah, when Univah is in every home, on every computer, you're going to come back to these beta test videos and you're going to laugh at these people that wanted to hurt me with their words, who wanted to make me feel insecure about my product. You're going to laugh at these videos. That's why they're here. Okay. So I know what we have. I know what this tool can do. I know what it can become. I have the vision. I don't need everybody to believe in the vision. I just need the right investor to believe in the vision. That's it. I only need one. I get one investor who believes in the vision. It's time to go. Okay. So I'm really excited. I speak to you very honestly and I let you know what's going on. It's getting really loud here, so I do have to go. But thank you for listening, and I look forward to hopefully giving you guys some good news very soon. All right, bye bye.